Nobody from my family came to my wedding, not even my parents. I stood there in my white dress, staring at the empty chairs where my loved ones were supposed to sit. Every single one. Vacant. Do you know what it feels like to look around on the biggest day of your life and realize you mean nothing to the people who raised you? Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you hit subscribe and share this with someone who believes family is everything. Because sometimes they're not. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message, a call, anything. Nothing. Not even a text from my mom. It felt like someone had ripped my heart out and stomped on it. My husband Ryan tried to smile, whispering, "Forget them, Alyssa. Today is ours." But how do you forget when the people you loved the most just proved they never cared? And the worst part, I later found out why they didn't come. It wasn't because they were busy or sick. They were all together, throwing a party, a celebration for my sister's engagement. Yes, they skipped my wedding for her engagement. When I saw the pictures online, laughing faces, champagne glasses raised, I swear my hands shook with anger. I stared at the screen and thought, so this is what I mean to them? Nothing? But here's what they didn't know. I had something that would change everything. And when they finally discovered it, the look on their faces? Priceless. I didn't confront them right away. Oh no. I smiled for the cameras, danced with Ryan, and pretended everything was perfect. But inside, I was boiling. My own family humiliated me on the happiest day of my life, and they thought I'd just forgive them? 2 days later, Mom finally called. Not to apologize. Oh, that would be too easy. She said, "Alyssa, you understand, right? Your sister needed us. Her engagement is a once-in-a-lifetime thing." I laughed bitterly. "Mom, my wedding was too, but I guess that didn't matter." Her voice turned cold. "You always make everything about you. This is why no one wants to be around you." Then she hung up. That was the moment something inside me snapped. They wanted distance? Fine. They'd get more than they asked for. What they didn't know was that I wasn't the same broke girl they'd mocked for years. The one they called a failure when I dropped out of college to waste time on my little idea. That little idea had turned into a multi-million-dollar tech company. And while they were busy laughing at me, I was building an empire in silence. But I wasn't going to just tell them. No. I wanted them to feel it. I wanted them to realize what they threw away. And the perfect opportunity came faster than I expected. When Mom invited me to a family dinner to talk things out. What she didn't know? That dinner would change everything. I walked into that dinner like a ghost from their past. Silent, calm, almost invisible. But inside, my plan was louder than a storm. They were all there. Mom, Dad, my sister Emily, even cousins who never cared about me. Laughter filled the room when I entered. But not for me. They didn't even pause. Emily looked up with that smug grin. "Oh, you came. Finally decided to join us?" Her diamond ring sparkled under the lights, and I knew she wore it like a crown to remind me of my place. I forced a smile. "Yeah, wouldn't miss it." My voice didn't shake, not even a little. Mom gave me that fake, warm tone. "Alyssa, honey, you know we just wanted to celebrate Emily. Her engagement is such a big deal." "Of course," I said, nodding. "Bigger than my wedding, right?" The table went silent for a second. Then Emily chuckled. "Well, you can't blame us. You had that small... what was it? Garden wedding? Cute. I swear. The way she said cute felt like a dagger. Everyone laughed softly. My hands tightened under the table, but my face, calm as ever. Then Dad spoke. The man who never missed a chance to crush me. So, Alyssa, what's new? Still chasing those silly projects of yours? You know, real life starts when you give up on childish dreams. And that was it. That was the moment my anger turned into pure, icy fire. But instead of lashing out, I leaned back, smiled, and said softly, "You're right, Dad. Real life does start once you give up on certain people." He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Before I could answer, Mom jumped in, rolling her eyes. "Alyssa, we don't need drama tonight. We're here to talk about family support. You know, maybe, if you tried harder to fit in? I laughed quietly. Funny, I spent years trying to fit in. And now I don't need to. They exchanged confused looks, and Emily smirked. What? Did you finally get a job at some coffee shop? Don't tell me you're still living paycheck to paycheck. I looked straight at her and said nothing, just let a slow smile spread across my face. Because I knew what was coming next would burn her to the ground. You know, I said casually, it's funny how life works. While you were busy chasing men and attention, I was building something. Something big. Emily laughed so hard she nearly spilled her drink. Building what, Alyssa? A TikTok page? Everyone joined in the laughter, their voices echoing like knives in my chest. I didn't flinch. I just reached into my bag, pulled out a black envelope, and slid it across the table toward Dad. He raised an eyebrow and opened it slowly. His smile disappeared. Then Mom leaned over to see and froze. Inside was a deed. Not just any deed, the ownership papers for the very house they were sitting in, the same house they thought belonged to them. Wait, Dad stammered, looking pale. What is this? I leaned forward, locking eyes with him. That, Dad, is what happens when the failure you abandoned buys your entire world. The room fell silent. Emily's jaw dropped, her laughter dead on her lips. Mom clutched the table like the ground beneath her was crumbling. And then I said the words that would haunt them forever. Enjoy dinner. You're sitting in my house now. But trust me, that wasn't the end. This was just the beginning of their nightmare. You could hear a pin drop after I said it. Mom's fork slipped from her hand and clattered against the plate. Dad kept staring at the deed like it was written in another language. Emily? Her face turned crimson, but her voice... Oh, she tried to save herself. This is some kind of joke, right? You can't just buy a house that's been in our family for years. I tilted my head, calm as ever. You're right, Emily. I can't. But I did. Because while you were too busy laughing at me, I was signing deals that made me more money in a month than you'll see in your entire life. Mom finally spoke, her voice trembling. Alyssa, you can't just take our home. Where are we supposed to go? I leaned back, crossing my arms. Oh, don't worry. I'm not kicking you out, yet. But let me make something clear. This house, this dinner, this family, everything you thought you controlled, now belongs to me. Emily slammed her glass down so hard it cracked. You think this makes you better than us? Money doesn't change the fact that you're still pathetic. I laughed softly. Pathetic? The girl who got dumped twice and clings to Daddy's money is calling me pathetic? Cute. Her face burned with rage, but before she spoke, Dad's voice thundered. Enough. Alyssa, this ends now. We're still your family. I leaned in, voice cold. Family? Where were you when you skipped my wedding, when you called me a failure? Silence. Just the ticking of the clock I now owned. My phone buzzed. I smirked. Gotta go. My driver's waiting. Oh, and starting next month. Rent's due. Emily shot up, eyes wide. Rent? Are you serious? I walked to the door, heels clicking on the floor like a victory march. dead serious. And if you can't pay, well, I guess you'll learn what it feels like to be left out. As I opened the door, I turned back one last time and said, "Funny how life works. You left me alone on my wedding day. Now I leave you with nothing but regret." And with that, I stepped out, leaving their perfect little world in flames. But you know what the real twist is? What came after that dinner? Because the humiliation wasn't over yet. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry anymore, but because my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Missed calls, voicemails, texts. Every single one from my family, begging for a talk. At first, I ignored them. But then, something unexpected happened. A message popped up from Mom that made my blood run cold. "Alyssa, please. We need your help. We might lose everything." Curiosity got the better of me. I called. Mom's voice was shaky, like she'd aged 10 years overnight. "Alyssa, the bank, they're foreclosing on Dad's business. We're drowning in debt. Emily's fiancé just broke off the engagement. We don't know what to do." I stared at the wall, my grip tightening around the phone. They left me alone on the biggest day of my life. They mocked me for years, and now they needed me to save them. ChatGPT said, "For a moment, the old Alyssa wanted to help, but then I remembered every insult, every tear." My voice turned to steel. "Mom, family isn't blood, it's loyalty, and you lost that long ago." Sobbed. "Please, Alyssa, we'll do anything." "Anything?" I smiled. "Then sign the papers my lawyer sends. You'll be working for me now." Silence, then a broken whisper. "Working? For you?" "That's right. Welcome to my world. On my terms." I hung up before she could answer, feeling a calm I'd never felt before. They didn't show up for my wedding because they thought I was nothing. And now, they'd wake up every day knowing the girl they abandoned owns their future. As I stepped onto the balcony of my penthouse, the city lights glittered, like stars, and I whispered to myself, "Sometimes the sweetest revenge is success they can never touch."